Usually for couples quarrels, people recommend therapy. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we're here with episodes 2 and 3 of Lance-Dur. So, as I stated last time, we are doing the rest of these episodes in pairs of two. Because the episodes are half length, about 11 to 12 minutes long each, and because we're just trying to kind of get through this 7 episode series quickly, we're doing two each time. It leads to about normal length episode length anyway, so I think this is fine. And this is just like a short, small spin off anyway of Whack Fu. Excuse me. So, like, even if it ends up being really good, past the first episode, I mean, of course, it's it's not something I'm hugely invested in, like, taking a long time to get through. You know what I mean? Unlike other shows where it's like, oh, I want to make sure I, spend time with this series. This is one that I can get through a little quicker. I don't mind doing that. So, yeah. We have episodes 2 and 3 today, and then as a reminder, next week is 4 and 5, and then 6 and 7 the following week. So, yeah. In the first episode, we kind of got the basic premise. So Lance-Dur is this count, I believe is the title. And he's very well respected, loved, and celebrated. The people love him, but he's old. I think it said 80 years old. Dude, excuse me. Dude is like a shell of his former self, is very decrepit. He finds it hard to walk, hard to move. He's not in the best shape. But one day his ex-wife comes back and steals all the children, hocus pocus style. Well, I mean, she doesn't sing a song to do it, but you know what I mean. She comes in, takes all the children, and pieces the fuck out. And now, in order to get the children, and especially his own grandchild, back, Lance-Dur has to go on a journey with his old friends, associates, adventure party, whatever you want to call them, in order to save the day. It seems like it's just going to be this one, like, kind of goal this entire season or series. I don't know if they plan for it to be multiple seasons, but it's probably going to be like including a bunch of flashbacks to his life previously and some other fun adventures along the way. Excuse me. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this goes, to see how this one last little quest in his life ends up closing out. But before we can get to the close, we have to see how the journey truly starts. Like, we haven't really seen the beginning of the journey. We saw them heading out on the boat, but, that's just like basically the prep work finishing up. The real journey begins this episode. And so, yeah. I don't know how this is going to be paced out, exactly what else is going to happen as they're searching for his ex. But it's going to definitely be interesting to see how this all goes down. And to find out, like, what her deal is. It's like, why is she doing this? Does she have some kind of grudge against him? Is she trying to get his attention? Is there something else going on? Or is she just actually, evil and he just, happened to bed a hot evil lady when he was younger and had a kid because of it? I mean, the thing is, though, like, obviously she would have had the kid, which means that they were together for at least a good period of time. And I believe it said in the first episode that she left after his son was born. So he kind of never really knew his mother, but she was there when he was born and everything. Why did she leave right after that happened? There's a lot of questions. I feel like I feel like there's more to the answers than we will expect, but we'll have to see. Let's just get this going though, and see what these episodes have in store. So, before we do, I do want to remind you all that we have a lot of awesome content on this channel. Between Monday and Friday, we have a plethora of fantastic series reactions. And on Monday, we even do YouTube, or at least YouTube adjacent reactions. Anything that doesn't quite fit into the normal series or movie ones. Whether that's shorts, specials, miniseries that just don't have enough episodes, or even just, plain YouTube videos. Anything like that kind of goes in this slot. And going back to movie reactions, we do have those every Saturday and Sunday. They're pre-recorded during the course of the week, but uploaded on the weekend so that every day has some kind of reaction content going on for it. And we're also currently going through a couple Let's Plays on the channel. Every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday, we're playing through Spider-Man 2. Really been enjoying that. It's been an absolute blast. But if you're new to checking the Let's Play out, I do want to warn you that the first 9 parts, especially 5 through 9, have some audio sync issues. This was my first time doing a Let's Play via a capture card with the PS5. And because of that, there were some things I had to figure out to get it all set up. And when I was recording this session for 5 through 9, I messed something up. And I realized what I did, but not before I could record the part. And after recording it, I couldn't really do much of anything to fix it. So I fixed it afterwards, and parts 10 and on should be all good. Should have no more issues for the rest of the Let's Play. It's just those first 9 parts, especially 5 through 9, that have these issues. It was my first time doing this kind of thing, so just had to get used to it, just had to figure things out. But we've also been playing through Anno Mutationum on Saturdays. This is a donation reward Let's Play for Matthew Vasquez. And if you want to learn how to donate for a future PS5 Let's Play, there's actually a video on the channel that you can check out that'll give you all the info you need. Go to the search on the channel page and type in June Double Reward Month PS5. It should lead you right to the correct video, and it will tell you everything you need to know on how to donate for a future PS5 Let's Play. But if you want just some other way to do so, you can also ask in the comments. You can go onto the Discord server and private message me. You can message me on some other kind of social media like Twitter. Whatever works the best for you. But all of that being said, we're now going to get into these episodes and see what they have in store for us. So, when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction because, yes, we do redirect all of our reactions on this channel. I understand it may not be the best and most exciting way to watch these reactions. You don't want to have to click on all these extra links. But you understand that YouTube's copyright system is pretty shitty. So, to avoid any possible issues with channel strikes or, God forbid, a channel termination, which I have dealt with before and don't want to deal with again, to avoid all of that, we do push our reactions onto another site. It's pretty simple, but it's something that needs to be done. There's really no way around it. Because of this, though, you do get to see all reactions, whether it be a series, movie, etc., in their entirety, full and unedited. Every one of you gets to see this for free. No paywall, no Patreon, and you don't even have to sync up your own copy. It's just going to be automatically there when you click the link. It's only one link as well. You just go down to the description, click it, and watch the reaction. Everything is right there. And after you watch it, you can come back here to the redirect and resume play. because after it fades black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will not only contain spoilers to the episodes, but also just my general thoughts on it, where this series is going, and maybe even some stuff related to the channel. It's always worth checking out. So, thank you as always so much for tuning in. And for now, I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Moral of the story, these old people be crazy. But that makes it fun. That makes it entertaining. The kind of insanity of things is always an appealing factor. And I don't know why this is the case, but it's like this for pretty much anything. And I know it's not just a me thing, because I've heard other people say the same thing. That, like, crazy, insane characters are entertaining to watch. And this can obviously be done in different ways. You can have insanity portrayed through villains, where they're just insane psychopaths, or you can have it, like, even with heroes, or at least neutral characters, where it's like, oh, they're crazy out their ass, but in kind of a fun way. And mind you, villains can be crazy out their ass in a fun way too, but you know what I mean. Where they're not, like, doing anything bad. It's just, like, when they're, like, journeying and fighting and whatnot, they just are kind of insane. And that's what we're getting here. We definitely get to see more of the dynamic of the characters in these two parts. We got, like, a little bit of that in the first episode, but these two give us a little more of that. First off, and I don't think this was mentioned in episode 1, but I might be wrong. We find out that, and I might mispronounce or missay these names, so if I do, I apologize. Bibi and Moosh, we find out, are married. They are a couple, and they are very active as a couple. I was not expecting that scene. Like, them making out and everything. It's like, okay, cool, whatever. All of a sudden, her armor flies off, and then they start fucking, and dude is sketching their positions, and I'm just, like, losing my mind. Like, what the fuck? Like, I'm kind of with Lance on that one. He's just, like, looking at the sketchbook, looking at them, looking at his son, and it's like, what is happening right now? He's, like, so befuddled. And I use that term intentionally. Like, he is befuddled by what is happening there. It's just like, what the fuck? And then, like, I went back to pause it at the sketchbook and everything, and it's like, oh yeah, that's just showing shit. Like, there's a full-on dick in those drawings, full-on titties. Like, it's not even sexually suggestive poses, full-on sex poses, like Kama Sutra shit here. And it's like, okay, I can understand that this series is, like, I guess more mature and more adult-oriented than even Wakfu. But it's like, Jesus, I was not expecting that. And I think even right before that, let me check to make sure here. I know, what a wild thing to check for, but I think right before that, it actually shows, like, a shadowed outline of them, like, making out slash, yeah, you see, like, their shadows on the beach. And while she's holding Moosh up, you can see his dick hanging there, as well as her big-ass titties with the nipples poking out. It's like, it's a shadow, of course. It's all in shadow. But it's like the outlines and everything are very obvious. And it's just like, oh, like, this is very adult. The first episode didn't really give you a good feeling of that. It's like, okay, like, there's some scary situations, it's heavy topics and stuff. Even the second episode's like, okay, insane action, crazy shit going down. But you don't really get a feel for that. And then the third episode is just like we're gonna get into borderline ecchi shit here. Does it count as ecchi if it's not like anime? I don't know. It's just an easy term to use. But it's just like, oh my god. And it's also interesting too, like usually in these kinds of in even these kinds of shows, like again, like using the term ecchi and everything, you don't usually see dick. That's actually very rare to see that. Like you'll see like tits and stuff all the time in a lot of those like ecchi anime and adult oriented cartoons and stuff. It's actually pretty rare to see dick unless it's just straight up porn. Unless it's like straight up full on hentai or shit. You're usually not gonna see dick. And you don't see a lot of like pussy or anything either. Sometimes you might see like a furry patch down there, but that's about it. But it's like this is like again, you don't like see it in full detail, but oh my, excuse me. Um oh my. Wow. Ooh. Excuse me. But you see the outline and it's very clear what it is even though it's all in shadow. And when you see the drawing in the book, it's like, oh yeah, it doesn't really hide anything. Like the drawing is actually pretty detailed. And it's just like, oh, okay, we're gonna be doing that then. Um, it's so wild because like the drawing like even shows hair on it and shit, and it's like it doesn't show like penetration or anything, but it shows like Moosh like grabbing at her tits while clearly fucking her and stuff, and all these different positions. One position looks like he's eating her out, and it's just like, oh my god. Listen, this is interesting though, because there's three main animated series for the World of 12, right? Unless I'm like missing or forgetting anything. There's Dofu, Swagfu, and now Lance-Dur. Dofus is very, kid slash family oriented. It's kind of an all ages thing that is definitely a lot more family friendly, while Wakfu is kind of like older teen. It definitely has some scary situations, some intense action. There's even a little bit of stuff in there that's a little suggestive, right? But then you have this, and it's like this is just a full-on adult series. When you have shit like this in here, it's like, oh, okay. Um, but I know I've been talking and harping on this one thing for a while, so let's move on though. So in episode 2, it was mostly about like they end up being attacked at sea by what's her face? I can't think of her name. I think it was only mentioned once or twice in the episodes we did today, but yeah, I can't think of it. But like she was watching them through the water and then like I guess sicked the fish creatures on them, the siren fish creatures. And we got to see Lance be a badass and pull the boat out of that little like water pit that she had put them in. A lot of insane shit going on there, and also Lance's like literally insane laughter while doing it is hilarious and crazy as fuck. Um, but you get to see like all of them like doing stuff, getting in on the action and all, and then with episode 3, there's tar zombies and whatnot. It's like, what the fuck? Is this like Return of the Living Dead? We have tar zombies and we have a full-on Cave of Wonders like thing. Like for those who somehow do not understand that reference, I'm talking about Disney's Aladdin. In Disney's Aladdin movie, there's the Cave of Wonders, this sentient living cave of treasure. And when Aladdin and Abu go in it, they are told to not touch anything, to not take any of the gold or jewels or whatnot inside, but to just get the lamp, the one reason they were there. And they almost succeed, but at the very end, Abu grabs a jewel, a gem, and it causes the entire cave to fill up with lava and shit, molten gold, and to kind of fall apart, where they have to ride the magic carpet and race out of there. And they do succeed. They do get out, obviously, but it's one of the most iconic scenes in Disney's Aladdin, and there's a lot of iconic scenes in that movie. But that is one of the most iconic scenes when they're like flying on the magic carpet to get out of the Cave of Wonders. And so when you have here, it's like, oh, there's this cave filled with all these jewels and gems and stuff, and a guard, I think is his name, something like that. He gets tempted by the jewels and stuff, and he doesn't even seem to understand why he's being tempted. It's just like this kind of mystical force drawing him in. And the fact that it's intercut with these memories of when Lance had, I guess, a partner at the time, this girl named Cadence, who it didn't quite show it, but it made it pretty clear. It gave us the implication that she got lost in that too and probably died. We don't have all the information, so it's going to hopefully clarify things in the next episode, but him seeing this now happen to his son, who, despite, being a crotchety old man, he does care for him, clearly. Yeah, it's like, that's gotta be freaking terrifying to see. And again, when a guard looks back at the end, he has like this kind of blank expression, like he doesn't know why he's holding this gem, he doesn't know what's going on, he's just almost like possessed. And it's like that's kind of cool. Between the battle with the sea creatures, the fish creatures in episode 2, and then this Cave of Wonders shit with the tar zombies and all, it's like they're definitely taking some inspiration from various fantasy concepts. Because obviously this kind of stuff's been used in various sources and whatnot. But they're taking these like kind of fantasy level concepts that are pretty dark, pretty intense in nature, and kind of bringing them into the world of 12 in a way that we really haven't seen with Dofus or Wakfu. And we've seen some pretty crazy shit with those shows. So it's like it's pretty crazy. In a really good way, I want to specify here. And the fact that the crew that we're traveling alongside are pretty insane themselves, it kind of makes it even better. Also, just going back to BB and Moosh real quick, I talked about how I talked about in the reaction how I really appreciate and love it when, like, you can see, like, not just with characters but in real life as well, like older people who have a very wholesome, loving, passionate sexual relationship with each other still. I know it sounds weird to say, like it's wholesome to see old people, fucking. But think about it. It's like there's oftentimes this idea of like older couples like more like tolerating each other into their old age rather than really having that passionate love still. And even when you see older couples who still very clearly love each other, they're going to be old. They're going to be very, like decrepit and whatnot, just not having the best mobility and everything. It's like you're not going to think that, oh, they're going to be able to be very sexually active. So it's like when you kind of see that this couple is not just tolerating each other, but they actively love each other this much, that they're this passionate about it, to the point where they just, utilize the fact that they still have a lot of strength and everything with their bodies to actively and very passionately, like, fuck like this, kind of out of the blue, just because they're that in love with each other. It's like, that's kind of beautiful. If I'm being honest, that's kind of beautiful, because it just feels wholesome to see, like, an older couple that in love with each other still, like almost like they're in their honeymoon period still, but they've been together for like decades and decades and all. It's like, that's just super fucking wholesome and cute. It just really is. I love that kind of shit. Like, that's awesome. um the other crew member, though, the dog guy, I don't remember his name at the moment. His big thing in terms of the connections with the others, he seems to be a little more like this kind of crotchety old man, to where it's like, oh, others will poke fun at him and he'll get like angry, but not like actually like hate them or anything, but say things like that, like, oh, go get impaled and whatnot. And he doesn't actually want, Lance to get impaled or anything. He's just like taking the fun poke that was directed at him and sending it back in kind of this crotchety old man way. Um, it's kind of tropey to have like a crotchety old man like this, but it works. He's probably my least favorite of the crew right now. A guard is probably pretty low for me too, because he's probably going to grow and develop as the series continues, but he's kind of a wet blanket right now, if I'm being honest. And I don't use that term a lot. I don't like to call people wet blankets, because I feel like, oh, this character clearly is just, not used to this shit. He's scared. It's like freaky shit going on. It's like, I would obviously be terrified in that situation. So why can't he be? And I'm not saying that he can't be. I'm just saying, like, that compared to literally everyone else in the group, he's kind of bringing down the mood, kind of bringing down the vibe a bit. And it almost feels like he doesn't really have a reason to be there. But I feel like, again, he is going to develop as it goes along, and he's going to become a lot more like his father. That's my view on it, at least. I could end up being wrong. I don't know. Obviously, no spoilers, but um but yeah, it's like, this is really fascinating, because each episode is obviously directly following the last, but so far they're like, well, at least with these two, they're like kind of focusing on their own different like fantasy creature, insane plot of the week. It's almost like a blend of episodic and serialized. And I think that aspect of this is really well done too, because you actively just have you actively have an ongoing story that each episode makes clear is still the mission and everything. But if you're gonna have like all these different things also happening each episode, it's like, that's pretty neat. That's a good way to do this. Yeah, I don't know what to expect with what's coming next in this, but I'm excited, and I'm definitely interested to see what happens with this jewel in the cave. Um, and I wonder how much more adult it's going to continue to be in this. Like more sexual stuff? Or is it gonna start like really busting out the language or some gore and shit? I would be all for that, but I guess we'll end up seeing. That being said, yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Like I said, no spoilers. And before we close this out, I do want to remind you all that we have a lot of great content to check out on this channel. Every Monday through Friday, we have a plethora of awesome series reactions, and on Monday, we also do YouTube, or at least YouTube adjacent reactions. Anything that doesn't quite fit into a full series or movie reaction. And speaking of movie reactions, we have those every Saturday and Sunday. They're pre-recorded during the week, but uploaded on the weekend so that every day has some sort of reaction content going on for it. We also have a couple Let's Plays currently happening. Every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday, we have Spider-Man 2, and every Saturday, we have Anno Mutationum. Anno Mutationum is also a donation reward Let's Play for the PS5. If you want to know how to donate for a future PS5 Let's Play, go to the channel search, type in June Double Reward Month PS5, and it should take you to a video that will that'll tell you everything you need to know regarding how to donate for a future PS5 Let's Play. But all of that being said, like I said, thank you so much for tuning in. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.